I typically don't really upload videos on this channel unless I'm in a really, really bad mood. And coincidentally, guess what? I'm in a terrible mood. I almost swore then. I can't swear that too early on in the video. Might get demonetized. I've made jokes before about having IBS, and it's one of those things that okay, that everybody says they've got, but like they don't have it. Like if you have diarrhea after a frappuccino, you don't have IBS, you're just a normal human being. Everybody has a shit after drinking a frappuccino. This is totally normal. It doesn't mean you have IBS. Living with IBS is like having a stomach bug, but constantly, and it just doesn't go away. It's like living with one, and it's absolutely draining. My symptoms have got worse, and the worst thing is it's like impossible to get taken seriously by any medical professional at all. It has been suggested to me so many times with just presumptions, without even asking me to do a food diary, without even asking me what I've been eating, without even asking for like family medical history. I've had presumptions that I'm just being unhealthy, presumptions that, I don't know, I'm cheating on my diet because I'm on a diet called low-FODMAP. This is a diet given to people who have irritable bowel syndrome symptoms, and with this diet you have to avoid many kinds of foods, including like gluten, dairy, certain random vegetables, certain nuts and seeds, tofu, like loads of just random things. In addition to these food groups that you're supposed to avoid, you're also supposed to keep your diet very low fat. You're supposed to keep it low on carbonated drinks, like lots of other random things. And the diet's extremely restrictive to the point where it's dangerous to do it in the long term due to a potential, not malnourishment, like nutritional deficiency. But I've been doing it now for like longer than I'm supposed to, because it's the only way to slightly ease my symptoms, and I'm not getting help, and it's really stressful. Anyway, what I was saying before, with IBS, it's an exclusionary medical definition. What that means is if they exclude everything else and they can't find the cause of your digestive issues, they just call it IBS. So IBS is technically not a real thing. It's just a made-up word to describe when the doctors don't know what's wrong with you, which is fine. But the issue with my IBS is that they haven't actually tested what's wrong with me. This is another reason why I'm like just so annoyed. Every single time I've spoken to the doctor about IBS, they always do two things. Firstly, they do a stool sample, which is usually to test for things like Crohn's disease, colon cancer, stomach bug, whatever. And then they do generic blood tests, which is just like thyroid, anemia, whatever. They haven't actually tested me for things that could be related to IBS. Like I have a history of gallbladder issues in my family, which can cause IBS symptoms, which again, they haven't even bothered looking into. They haven't bothered asking. There's also something called bile acid malabsorption, which I asked them to look into and they point blank refuse. 30% of people who have IBS-D, which is the diarrhea type of IBS that I've got, specifically people with yellow stools. Sorry, sorry if this is too much information. If you get yellow stools as well, this is a sign of it, and roughly 30% of people with this type of IBS have bile acid malabsorption, and there's a very specific treatment for it that you would take, but again, they're not considering me for it, so I'm not even getting tested. They haven't tested me for celiac disease, which is literally severe. Celiac disease can literally cause damage to your gut. IBS does not actually cause damage to your gut. It doesn't really have like any long-term impact in terms of increasing your risk of anything else. But things like celiac disease do, and the symptoms are literally identical. There's no way to tell the difference unless you do a test, and they haven't tested for it. And the worst thing is, IBS is a gut-brain axis issue. In other words, there's a direct link between your mental health and your gut health. Experts don't know what's the cause and effects, but it's suggested that IBS can cause mental health issues, but also mental health issues can cause IBS, so maybe a bit of both. And coincidentally, my mental health has gotten worse over the last few months, and I told you guys before I have OCD. OCD is another thing like IBS where it's trivialized, like everybody says they have it, like, oh, I get stressed out if my pencils aren't arranged in the right order, so I have OCD. Like, that's literally not what OCD is. Shut up, you don't have OCD. So anyway, that's getting worse. I have started seeing a therapist for anxiety, and that's really started to help. But it's like, what can I do? What can you literally do when the medical professionals that are supposed to be doing something for you are literally not doing anything? The worst thing is, like, over the past couple of years, I've not had one single medical practitioner in general tell me, Satch, we want you to try out this treatment. We want you to try out this preventative measure. Nothing. The only reason why I started doing the low FODMAP diet originally is because I had to pay for a private dietitian to do it because the NHS didn't do it. When I was originally referred to the NHS dietitians, they called me and did a quick telephone survey and said, instead of just giving me tailored advice, specific advice, which is what you must do with IBS, they simply told me to check their website. Even on the NHS website, it says, do not attempt to do the low FODMAP diet alone. You must see a dietitian. The dietitians at the NHS literally told me to do it alone. It's just hell. It's a nightmare. And it's having an impact on me being able to do YouTube. I've never, ever had this issue before where I've had to put on a fake smile for YouTube. And I've started doing it lately, and it's absolutely horrible. It's just been a nightmare. It's just like, is medical gaslighting like a thing? Like, I feel like, is medical gaslighting like a real thing that happens? Because I feel like that's what's happening. And because it's not being taken seriously, they're just like delaying my appointments and not giving me like prompt appointments. I keep having appointment like, months apart. So I've now got to wait a few days to do a blood test, which will come up as completely fine because they're not testing me for celiac disease, or they're literally, okay, I'm being a Karen right now. They're literally not testing me for any digestive issues with these bloody blood tests. I don't know why they're doing it. So I'm going to have to wait for these blood tests, then I'm going to have to wait for the results to come back negative, and then I'm going to have to book an appointment. But because the test came back negative, they won't take it seriously. And then my appointment will be in like 1 or 2 months' time, and they'll likely make it a telephone appointment, which pisses me the fuck off. And then in this telephone appointment, they'll say, maybe we should do tests. Maybe come into the surgery so we can talk about it. And then I have to wait another month for another thing. And like the issue just doesn't get resolved. And it's just draining. It's so draining that it's not being taken seriously. I just can't believe like how so many medical practitioners don't know what IBS is. They don't know how to test for it. They don't know what they're talking about. I'm not saying this to be condescending. I'm just saying there needs to be stricter regulations and processes in the NHS because this is not it. I think when I next go in to my doctor, I'm just going to have to be really mean and stern. And I just hate doing that. I hate being a bitch. Like on my Sims channel, like I make bitchy jokes about the game, but I just hate hurting other people's feelings. And I know if I go into the GP and I complain, it's probably going to hurt their feelings. And then maybe they'll act defensive. And then I probably won't get what I asked for anyway. And then maybe I'll have to lodge a real complaint. And I just don't want to go through all of this. I'm not doing it privately because I shouldn't have to. The NHS should just do it. I pay tax. I pay a lot of tax. So no, I'm not doing it privately. I've honestly been like, even just recording this video, it's really hard not to cry because I'm just so like, I don't know. I'm just so frustrated with everything. And again, like IBS, it's one of those things that people just trivialize, but everybody's different and it can be really, really tough to deal with. It's really tough to be taken seriously by not just medical practitioners, but people in general make jokes about it. And it's not funny when it's really, really horrible and it just really hurts and it's having a big negative impact on your life, and the people who are supposed to help are just offering no help. And I'm going to politely ask, with all due respect, like, please don't diagnose me in the comments. You're literally not a health practitioner. You don't know what you're talking about. Even if you do, again, you haven't done any tests on me, so you don't really know. I just don't like it when I get comments like, oh, Satch, maybe you have this, maybe you have that. Like, you literally can't speculate with these things. You can't be hypothetical. You just need to have tests so you know. And I'm not receiving tests, so I know, which makes my brain go into hypothetical mode. What if it's this? What if it's that? And then I start getting health anxiety about it, and it's just an absolute state. Obviously, I am trying on a personal note. Like I told you guys, I got therapy. I'm considering trying to find a hypnotherapist because I've always thought hypnotherapy was just ridiculous, but there's actually evidence that suggests that it can be extremely effective for people with IBS. So I'm definitely going to try and find one. I'm probably going to have to search far out, somewhere like London or like Birmingham. There definitely won't be anything like that in my hometown. As I said, I only upload on this channel when I'm angry. Today I'm fucking fuming. Honestly, I just want to say to everyone, I like to do a little like positive mental health message on like every video on this channel. You guys need to start doing diaries to express your emotions when you feel like nobody else is listening or nobody else understands. Obviously, you don't have to do a video diary and upload it on YouTube like I'm doing. Literally just like write things in a diary. It makes such a big difference, more than you'd ever imagine, to just write down. This is why I've started making like swear word bracelets. And it's a way of like, it's almost like a way of writing it down. I feel like I can't show the word on YouTube because it will get demonetized. This bracelet, it's got words on it that say see you next Tuesday. I've also made another bracelet. This one says just Satch on it. I really enjoyed making this one. It just says Satch. I also made another one that says fuck off on it. I just feel like it's good to find ways that you can express your frustration and anger, which don't involve yelling at people. Obviously, I'm yelling at you guys now, but it's different. Even if it just means literally yelling into a diary and just talking about how fucked everything is. It helps. It's just a form of release. Do you guys want to know something funny? They say caffeine and fizzy drinks make your IBS worse, but you can have like one drink a day and it shouldn't have an impact. So I have Diet Coke, but I have to like wait. I literally have to wait until it goes flat. I literally have to just open it and wait till the drink is flat. Otherwise, it's going to like make my symptoms worse. To be fair, I have had days before where I've had 4 cans of Coke and it's made my poo floaty and gassy. So it is a trigger. So I have to wait till it gets flat. And like, I can't tell you because I've had to avoid so many vegetables. Every day I'm just eating courgettes, carrots, and aubergines. I'm sick to death of fucking courgettes. I've had them every day. At least the carrots are making my skin slightly yellower, slightly more glowy, so I'm not as pale. Every day for breakfast, I'm eating oats with lactose-free milk and blueberries and fucking flax seeds. I'm eating gluten-free sandwiches. Honestly, I almost cried. Okay. I almost cried in the supermarket because with IBS, like you genuinely can't eat anything on a low FODMAP diet. I don't know if you have these in your country, but in the UK, we have a free from section in the supermarket, which is like food that's free from dairy, free from nuts, free from wheat. I was looking at the free from like the gluten-free breads. 90% of them I couldn't even eat. Not only can I not eat normal bread, I can't even eat gluten-free bread because a lot of them contain random things like apple juice concentrate, and you can't have apples when you're on a low FODMAP diet. Like even food that's supposed to be for people who have food intolerances, you can't eat them. It's horrendous. I'm going out for Asian food, which is like the worst, with my friend later. I'm just going to ask for plain boiled rice and vegetables that are not in sauce. And I'm just going to have to hope to God that they understand me because I don't think they speak English there very well. This is the first time I've gone out for dinner in like 2 months. And I thought, you know what, I'm doing it. Like, I can't put my quality of life on the sidelines. Like, I've got to enjoy my life. I can't be in miserable shit, even though maybe I'll get, you know, some symptoms from it. Like, it is what it is. Also, I'm going to have to push my GP for a celiac test because they haven't done it yet, even though they should have. And in order to be tested for it, you first have to eat gluten for 30 days because it's got to be in your system to test like its impact. So my symptoms are going to get worse anyway soon, so I may as well just enjoy it while I can. This has already felt amazing just to be able to speak to my camera. You guys are basically my punch bag on this channel. It's so funny to me when I get comments like, Satch, I love it when you yell at me. Like, you guys have some weird kind of humiliation fetish. And it's absolutely great because I can just yell at you and you like it. So anyway, thank you very much for watching my rant. I personally feel a lot better for doing it. I will see you in the next one.